Welcome to the Amazing Truth Podcast, a podcast where we focus on real issues and have real talk, and as always, provide a biblical perspective. We hope that you will be blessed as you listen.
And we are back, Jama. You know this guy. I had him messed up the last episode.
Ezra,
They had to recall me back. Kenan, I don't blame you. It's the team you support. but since you have colleagues
Ezra, you
here,
missed me. I know you did, man. Ezra.
Obani, my friend, here we go. We are on top of the league.
Shaming us.
We're on top of the league.
Tunafaa tukae tu hata hapa juu. On top of the table.
We literally need to sit on top of the table, right? But anyways, guys, as you can tell, we are excited, man. These guys, we go way back. We have fought literally in the soccer field, and now we are coming literally to sit in the microphones, right? Yeah. And face it, except for one, but we still have him. I won't say which one. But having said that, if you missed the last episode,
Please go watch it. Because
Please.
The host did a fantastic job.
that might be that might be a reason for you not watching it. But because we are Amazing Truth, we will invite you to go back and watch. We're talking about something very real, as much as we are joking about it, but it's also very real. How do men cope with realities of life? And for us, growing up, soccer was the thing. We grew up in households where our fathers, our uncles, we didn't have shoes to go play basketball. I mean, we have one who played hockey. I don't know where he found these things. I won't call. But generally became a culture of who we are. So today we just want to talk about World Cup. And I'm just going to go around and ask you guys, introduce yourself. I mean, the guys did intro last time, right? But just say something. Your team. And why you think your team will win.
Can I say my name?
Okay, go ahead and say. You can say anything you want. We'll start from my brother on the other side. Your name, your team you're supporting, and why you think they will win.
Simple. My name is Lloyd, supporting Qatar.
The bribe.
I'll have the last laugh. But, they're hosting, so I got to support the home teams.
They're hosting and they have the money too.
And they do, yeah. I wasn't gonna throw that out. I wasn't gonna put them on the public like that.
But they've also bought a lot of people. But that's a whole different story.
There's a guy called from Qatar. He's called what, Pedro?
Pedro. Our star is called Pedro.
Kenan, the Amazing Truth host. But anyway, man, it's been a love of. What do you call it? I came into this World Cup supporting Portugal. Yeah. But I've since switched allegiance and I'm supporting Brazil. Owing to the fact that my icon, my player that I adored, turned his back on my team. So
Do you need therapy?
that's why we're here, man. So I'm with Brazil. Casemiro, I'm shouting Casemiro, my guy.
All right.
Brazil.
Yep. All right.
Oh yeah, I think I don't need no introduction again. But, I'll go ahead and steal though. My name is Shadi. I came into the World Cup thinking logically.
You just called the other guy easy logic.
I know, right? Logically, and from history, rather, that Germany always find a way.
Okay, that's a good choice.
But I have since changed my mind though, and put allegiance over logic, and I'm gonna go with Argentina. Because I think this is gonna be Messi's final World Cup, and I would love for him to at least win the big one, because he's done everything in sport apart from
the World Cup.
From the World Cup. Yeah.
I think we can finish the podcast here. The gentleman who just spoke just said everything. What else do the rest need to say? But anyway, because of my Arsenal mate, we have to do the honors.
To me, I'm Movanyi, and I'm going with the Team Brazil for two reasons. One, I feel like it's technically the most gifted and deep squad are going forward. Like you can throw in Neymar with any player up front, Richarlison, Jesus, Martinelli, anybody, and they can do
Martinelli, yes.
And for soccer, offense wins you, it wins you the fans and it wins you the matches. So the only thing you need to do is outscore the other team. So if you have a good offense, even if your defense sucks, you find a way, to win the game. So that's why I'm going with the Team Brazil.
But they don't have a bad defense and goalkeepers.
That's another thing, yeah. So it's they have a good balance, but again, going forward, they are way, way talented and their depth is crazy.
As I'm sitting here listening, I can't believe these are the same guys we laugh out there. The English is polished. The analysis. I feel like I'm on ESPN. All right, that's our general right there. General. All right, my brother next.
Shem, I'm going with Senegal.
See, an outlier, just like me, man.
Yeah.
Just like you?
Yeah.
I'm going with Senegal for two reasons. Number one, I feel like Aliou Cisse has built enough chemistry in that team. He's been in that team for the longest time. And that's why they even performed in the African Cup.
Yes.
That just recently ended. And so that's number one. Number two, and I feel those players, they are multi-talented and they are playing for the coach.
But not because you're African too?
Well, that's major.
That's major
right there.
Allegiance.
Major.
All right.
But I feel like Senegal, they're gonna, even if they might not win, they'll go far. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Next.
Share the mic. Bethwell here. For me, Brazil, I think 3 of us now. And again, for me, I pick Brazil because of the history, number one. Number two, it's weird, but I see familiar names there that I know are playing good. And again, Obany already mentioned Martinelli, Jesus. I think I saw Thiago. I'm not sure if he's playing.
You are. Do you know what shirt you're wearing?
I know, that's the thing I was thinking.
That's the last names you're mentioning.
It is like Casemiro. It's a Martinelli.
For now, I'm allowed to, kind of betray
It's World
him
Cup.
a little
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
But he's a good player. They say that. Yeah, he's a good player. So, yeah, I'll pick Brazil.
Brazil. All right. I, of course, rock Arsenal all the way. Me and Obany need to sit at the table, literally. But because we are gracious and generous to people who are suffering what we've suffered for many years, we understand. But for World Cup, I'm going with Argentina, of course, to just make this guy mad because he's idol. That's my idol. But also, I think, as Shadi said, they've built chemistry, consistency. They have a long winning history. I think 30 something games unbeaten. And of course, when you have the magician there, number 10, Messi, anything is possible. So I'm super excited.
Mention, though, that for the people. For the people that can't differentiate, Arsenal is not in the World Cup.
Yes.
They're not. Yeah.
So the table in the World Cup is empty.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can sense the hate speech in here. I know. But anyways, guys, we just wanted to come here because, as men, we grew up in a household, as you said, talking about and learning and seeing our parents, our fathers, supporting soccer, and here we are. And I think also it's a tool for us to cope. Most of us, life is in Kenya, but then when you have these weekends, these games, you lose, you win, you feel nice, it helps us address. But now, on all serious note, it's okay. We're talking World Cup and everything. But here's my question to you all. How are you planning to navigate World Cup in your household? In your households. And anything they say, I am not responsible of this.
Neither am I.
We didn't sign that.
What is the joy in your homes? And
Wait, is this on record?
Yeah, I was going to say, is this off the record?
Mic check.
Yeah. So anybody can go. Anyone. First of all, like what culture is it? Because we talked about generational culture, right? At home, you grew up. What culture are you building? What is it looking like in your homes? And and World Cup coming. Let me not go there. Anyways, anybody wants to start? Kenan is running away from the mic.
I can go. I think. Sorry. Yeah. But anyway, for me, I've since I didn't play soccer, and I'm trying to instill that culture to my kids, see if they can play soccer. But for the World Cup, I've been trying to kind of educate them and my family about, and I didn't go like Shadi and say you're choosing your Brazil. I gave them autonomy to choose what team they're supporting. But it's football is a big thing in our household. So and we are going to be watching the games together if there is a chance. And all our teams, we have the brackets and we picked our team. So
it's a bonding session for you and your family.
It's a bonding
household.
session. It's actually it's a learning moment for my kids because they played soccer this summer in the fall. So some of the things they see on TV is some of the things that I've been trying to teach them. So it's a learning moment for them. It's a bonding session, and So
do you think you're doing what was not done to you by your parents?
That's exactly what we did. If you listen to the first episode, that's what we said. I mean, our parents, they played soccer for a livelihood, and it was hard for them to translate that to us because they probably wanted a better life for ourselves. So for me, I'm teaching them that it's an art, it's a livelihood. You can earn money there. So it's normal to, if you want to play soccer, if you want to play any sport, you go ahead and do it. So that's what I'm trying to instill.
So you watch World Cup together.
For my household, I think World Cup is an opportunity to teach my kids. It's an educational opportunity, actually, because my kids also watch soccer, but they watch club Premier League soccer. So, especially my middle child, he's always inquisitive, asking about all these people playing English soccer, and they don't sound English. So it's more or less an education opportunity for me to teach them about. Unfortunately, some of their favorite players are not in the World Cup. Salah plays from Egypt, so it's an opportunity for me to teach them. You see, Van Dijk plays for Liverpool, but actually he's from
Netherlands.
So it's more or less educational for me, and the opportunities that I'll find. Most of the games will be played during school time, I think. But during the weekends and opportunities we get, we'll have a chance to do that and have those moments.
Why do I feel like people, they're the ones who want to watch the games, but they're pulling their families here to make it, get their passport?
No, passport is, I have a diplomatic passport.
You have to stop.
It's already stamped.
I can't go anywhere.
I can go anywhere. That one is known, and actually my wife is gracious enough to allow me that opportunity to watch something that I enjoy because she knows I love sports. So
Nice.
that's good. So for me, it's more or less more than just getting that out, and having an opportunity for myself, but rather also bonding and also teaching my kids about all the things.
But I think, Shari, even to add on to that, it's not really like a passport. I think what's really cool, at least for us, is seeing our kids really take an interest in this sport, right? Because they're here where it's not really your number one sport. Here you got basketball, you got the NFL, you got hockey, you got all these things. Soccer is really like fourth tier, right?
Yes.
But our kids really are interested, and they have like their own little allegiances to their own teams, right? My kid is only 5, but he already sings "Glory, Glory, Man United," right? Like he's already accustomed to those things. So this is also going to be an opportunity for him to see now soccer like at a world stage, really kind of get to learn like, okay, there's that, different things. So I personally think it's cool. Like I would like to be able just to go and sit down and watch a game by myself. But I find even when I wake up for early morning kickoff, he's right there on the couch. Let's see, so and so kicked. Like, why is Liverpool playing right now? He always gets worked up about that. But
Why do I feel hate speech that? Why is Liverpool playing right now? What about the rest of you?
For me, I don't have a big culture, when it comes to the World Cup. But my 5-year-old, she knows that, like when I sit down in the house, it's either I'm watching soccer or news. So if she's watching cartoon, she'll be like, "Oh, Daddy, do you want soccer or news?" So she can ask. So she knows that those are the two things that I watch most of the time. But then, like today, they had the opening ceremony, so I'm just gonna make a confession to my wife. They were sleeping. The kids were sleeping because they slept late. So what I did, I went and I walked them up. Changuvu. because I knew they're going to enjoy the opening ceremony. It was beautiful and all that.
Yeah.
So nikaenda nikawaamsha, and then they came and sat down and they enjoyed for like a whole hour.
Nice.
Because I'm like, they're gonna enjoy that. So I did that one, and they're not so much into soccer, but anything that I think they can enjoy, I try to bring that one into them, and that is what I did this morning.
Nice.
For me, I think that because I play in a summer league, I only get a chance. So my wife used to come out with me and lay the mat there and watch me play and watch people, shout my name, and it was a euphoria and stuff. And so that's how I introduced soccer to my household slowly. But now, this is the first World Cup for my kids now know what soccer is. And so this is the first World Cup. So I'm wanting to use this platform for them to just know that there's a bigger stage, just even beyond like the Premier League that we watch, that there's something that brings a sense of nationalism, a sense of belonging. And so hopefully I can talk to my wife so that we can be together in that. But she's very supportive, and I like that. I like that about her. It's important to support each other's interests.
If you need somebody to help, Edu is a good recruiter. The guy who recruits people.
Oh, man.
Why you say like it's a bad thing? Oh, man.
As for me, my kids are very young, so I'll say for now they really don't know what soccer is. But I do watch soccer, and I see some interest sometimes. My oldest daughter, she might watch the TV, but I don't know whether she gets it. But for now, for the World Cup, I really don't know how I can incorporate the World Cup into bonding time with my my family. But based on the history, when I'm watching, all these sports, I know my wife is not a big fan, but sometimes she does watch it.
Yeah.
For support. So we'll see what happens. I believe she might be able to watch 1 or 2 games, but I'm not sure whether she'll watch all of them.
Yeah.
So.
No, man. Yes. I'm gonna say. This guy is on my case. I'm not running away from it.
I'm going to run away from this.
For me, my wife doesn't understand much about soccer and sports. I'm the guy. I don't do. Partly because of my career, I'm always talking to people, visiting, doing stuff like. So when I come home, the way I just relax is watching sports. And you rarely find me even in social media talking about everything else I do. I just talk about sports because that's my place also, safe space place, and something that helps me. But she's making jokes and fun. She was actually texting. She texted your wife, and she was like, what are we gonna do now for the next 3 days? And just joking around. And there was a video that was going on online by this comedian called Jugush, where he's seated watching football with his wife. And his wife, who is that guy? And he sent that to us as like, this is going to be us, seated watching that. But just the fact that we're even laughing, conversing, talking about it, it's just a blessing in itself. I'm just like, we're in this phase. One of the things that we want our listeners and viewers to understand is that for us, people talk about where are the men, where are the fathers. But if you listen to these gentlemen, all of them they talked about their kids, their wives and stuff. And so here are the men, in case you've been looking for them, but they've been taken. Unfortunately, they've been taken. But the undertones I kept hearing is family. Sports can be a way of pulling family together. Can lessen those tensions in their homes, except when you lose. I don't know about you. My wife says, I know when Arsenal loses.
She says the
It's
same
an Arsenal
thing.
thing.
The mood has to change.
The mood has to change,
I
right?
don't know anything about that.
You say, no, we don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually, I'm just reading the text messages. It's just going, you should look at your text messages. It's saying, it's a recording, but I'm pretty sure the watch parties will follow. we can join them and be like Sele and Wajugush. But even that is a joy. Like, look at it. Like, we are here doing this, but our spouses, they're also making fun out of it. And in this generation, it's very hard to get that kind of camaraderie. Now,
let me add something.
yes.
And it's different. See, in a place where we grew up, like where we come from, the men don't have these moments with their family. And let me say not most of them. The people that I know have interacted with don't have this. So it's either the guys are going to the local pub
With their friends.
the guys, and that's it. Watching football at home is not
A
not
big thing.
right? So I think for these men to admit, and it's a noble thing. Honestly,
Yes.
if you ask me, it's a noble thing for men to sit down with their wives and enjoy a game, enjoy something. It's something we don't often see, especially in Kenya. It's not something we see as much. So.
Now let's get back to World Cup. We're gonna mix this back and forth. Pull up the lessons. Let's get back to World Cup. You guys picked your teams, and you all are in for it. What is your take about this whole controversy going on there right now with the sales? Kenan is like,
I am not
because the other thing about World Cup is not just a sport; it's also a global affair. There is economic value in that. There is spiritual, religious value because part of it is religious. That's they're banning these things there. There is culture clashes. You've seen players talk about these issues. Like when you think about it, beyond sports, what else do you see in the undertones and picking your teams and all that globally? And we ourselves can also be cognizant for people who might not watch the sport but need to understand why it's important.
I think I may not be answering the question, but I think when Lloyd and Shem said the teams they did, especially I'll go with Shem when he said Senegal, we all like, okay,
Senegal. Yeah.
Senegal.
Yeah.
But look at us. We are from
Africa.
From Africa.
Yeah.
But we don't have the belief that an African team will win the World Cup. And that plays a big part in what we see on TV and what we've grown up supporting. And the corruption, we talked about the corruption and the governance of football.
Yes.
But we don't believe that an African team can actually go ahead and win the World Cup.
What does that speak about us as Africans, right?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Shem. I see you thinking.
No, I was piggybacking on we don't, for us, we now I've forgotten the word I was going to say. And I'll get back to it when I remember. Yeah, I've forgotten the word I was going to say. Get back to it.
Even just going to Qatar, World Cup in Qatar.
We don't champion our own cause.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you blame us, though?
We must believe. We must have a sense of belief. We have to look at us the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Yes.
And not just be hung on the now and, the now. Because the now looks bleak for us.
Yes.
But we must have that sense of belief that things are going to get. Even we were talking before in the first session, we were talking about how us growing up, there was no way of us dreaming that we can be anything great in that direction which we are going, which was sports. But we used to play the game. Every day we woke up and we drank tea and we went straight to playing the game. But we never have that dream and belief that we are going to be something out of
Beyond that.
When I see Sadio Mane play, he gives me belief that things are changing for Africa. And that's why for me, even though chances may not be good, I will still go with an Africa. Even if Senegal exits the World Cup, I'm going to choose another African team to proceed.
Ghana.
Yes.
We
must believe, I guess what I'm saying is that we must believe that things are getting better and are going to get better, if not for us, for our children.
Yeah. It speaks to the nature of governance, leadership, in all these, that even as you watch World Cup, it's not only an opportunity. I like what Shadi said. He said that my kids can see Van Dijk play for Liverpool, but also there's a lesson of geography in there. There's a lesson of the country they come from, and so this is the country versus the club and what that means and all that kind of stuff. And that's how, quite frankly, I know London, though I've not been there, because North London derby, right? Yeah. All those kind of things. All right, so talking about that conflict, I'm sure you don't just have the passport stamped all the day. There are times where you're like, when does it become toxic? Can it become toxic? Because how long is World Cup?
1 month.
1 month. Now, assuming these games, especially the first few days they're starting, multiple, games. You are a father, you are a husband, your team is winning every stage and proceeding. Some people at some point week 2, you're like, now I wish my team to lose. Then how do you handle or deal with those? Because those are realities and there needs to be work-life balance in all these.
So if I can say something, I don't see that one being an issue at all, because most of the games they'll be playing on odd hours, like 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and then we have a work week whereby you're working during the day. And as much as you love the World Cup, you can only watch as much as you can. Mm-hmm. So maybe 2 games a week, or maybe even 1 game, or maybe you watch the highlights. And then on the weekend, then that is when you can just make sure that you get up in the morning, you do the dishes, right away. Make sure the kids are set, and then you sit down and enjoy.
Yes. So I'll piggyback on what he's saying. Not the dishes. So there's a potential for conflict.
Yes.
And this will only happen in this kind of situation when you're not organized. Let me put it that way. Mm-hmm. We are lucky enough. Currently you can record games if you want to and watch it later. Mm-hmm. When it comes to house chores, you can also plan and start doing your chores early or do them late. The other thing, you also need to talk to your partner and, I feel like they're human, they're understanding. Just talk to them, and your partner, if they really love you, so they should understand that this is what you love.
I think now you are starting to tread on red line.
They're just going on the red line. Scratch that. Okay, so anyway, what I'm trying to say is this: our partners are supportive enough.
Yes, yes.
I believe that if you organize yourself really good and do your things, and for the most part, take care of what you need to take care of and record your games if you want to watch it, enjoy it. When it comes to work, that's again, it's the same thing. Just work, record your game, come and watch it later. So it's the same thing. With organization, anything is possible and you can avoid conflicts. Will they happen? They might still happen. Yeah. Still, find a way to resolve them as soon as possible.
So if I can just summarize basically what you're saying is basically play your role.
Yes.
You just play your role.
Yep.
Because football, what we call soccer here, is not not everything.
Yeah.
Is the most important thing of the things that are not so important. So that's how I can put it.
And it's 1 month. After that, you'll be left there.
You gotta go back.
So just play your role.
Yeah.
I'm a dad. I have to make sure my kids are ready for school.
Yeah.
They come home, they do their homework and everything.
Yeah.
Take care of the house like I'm supposed to. I have work that I have to take care of.
Yeah.
Soccer will always be there. I mean, it's there for other things. Not, you got to play your role before you kind of set that time aside for soccer.
I think for me, what I need to work on is, waking up early to see a game in the morning. And then after 1 month, you can't wake up to go to the store early in the morning. It's like knowing that the same energy you're putting it in here, it needs to spread out across in other areas. But as we're still in this topic, funniest or best moment you remember in the past World Cups?
The best. You said funniest or
funniest or most memorable? Let me say most memorable.
I remember France winning the 98 World Cup. That was a huge deal because Brazil were on top of the world at that time. And this team out of nowhere, people just, people were ecstatic.
Yeah.
And I was in high school still, and we were watching it. We were watching it at school, and just I don't know who scored the last goal. And it was pandemonium. It was like you're in the stadium. So that for me was the most memorable. Yeah.
Maybe the most memorable is not something that I watched. It's something that I it's historical. Past World Cup, 1986. I was there, but I didn't know anything.
So you were at the game?
Yeah, the hand of God. That's one of the things that's the football romance. When you hear those controversies.
Yes.
Argentina, Maradona, hand of God, and then he scored one of the best goals in the in solo goals in the history of the World Cup. So those are the things you kind of think and think World Cup. Those are the moments you see and say, that's what the World Cup is.
For me, it has to be 2010. That is in South Africa. You know, Blatter had promised that, if he takes over, he was going to bring the World Cup to Africa. And I was like, no, that one can't happen. Like, that is one of the biggest sporting events in the world. And you bring it to Africa, how? But I was able to do that. So the fact that, Africa was able to host that and in a big success, that was like, quite a moment for me. Yeah.
Nice.
For me, I think was around when France won. What year was that?
1998.
No.
And 2018.
I think that was the best African team outside of Africa to win.
Yeah.
I think that was memorable for me. But I do remember though growing up the Roger Millers. And, I think that's for the memory of a World Cup. I think that's what really I can remember. I can relate to because you're in Africa. It's Roger Miller. The Yakinis and that was what
the Nigeria Super Eagles team.
Yeah, so that was a memorable moment for me.
Yeah, I think I'll piggyback on what you said. I think in 2018, just seeing France win and really being like the second African team winning, right? The representation that was there. But I also I kind of felt bad for the English boys. No, I mean, think about it though. Like, they put so much effort, and then once they went to like the penalty kicks, and then like who missed that kick, right? And it's again, there's just that relation. Like, there's just like kind of gravitate to this person. I feel bad that they didn't get it. So that was also a memorable moment. I mean, he's not on my team,
right? And it's true though. Even now, the build up to the World Cup, we watch the Premier League. I mean, we know the English culture. We were raised in the English culture, and but no. So even I don't support them. I will never support England just because they are too proud. They win. But even on YouTube, that's who I follow. I watch them. I follow how they go the training and all that. But there's that really love hate.
It's just natural.
So you cannot hate to love them or love to hate them.
Yeah, English is not your first language, so whatever you're saying. What about you, Betu?
For me, I don't remember the year, but I remember the days of Ronaldinho. And when Brazil was Brazil, the yellow and the blue uniform. I remember when I was young, and that was a big thing. 2002.
The whole team, man.
That was a really good team. And seeing Ronaldinho, man, that guy was huge, but the guy can play.
Are you talking Ronaldo or Ronaldinho?
Ronaldo.
Yes, Ronaldo.
The real
Ronaldo.
The real Ronaldo. Yeah, the
I don't
real.
know if Ronaldinho is still playing though.
No, Ronaldinho retired. He was playing that time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But they're good.
True number 9.
I think for me, my most memorable moment was Zizou's headbutt. I was still. It was just the game was just heated. It was right at that moment, like boom, and it's like
It's something that you would never expect to see in a game.
Yep.
Especially at that level.
Yeah.
It was just a moment like, did he really do that? Like, did that? But then,
it was the final.
And it was the final. Yeah. It was the final. So I was like,
and he would have lifted the cup.
Yeah.
Right? He was the captain.
He was the captain. I was like, why? But I was too young to understand all that stuff, So yeah, favorite moments. One player you cannot stand.
Maguire. I think that goes without saying,
right? I think Maguire has extended our life. They said
Maguire wins.
Maguire wins.
Yeah.
The World Cup?
Well, okay, that was club level. Yeah. What about World Cup? Do you have one that you can't stand?
He's still there.
He's
still at the World Cup.
He's still there. One player
That you can't stand?
Yeah.
if you
It's a tough one.
What's the guy that bites people?
it was Suarez.
Suarez.
But you're right. By the way, I cannot stand Suarez.
I can't
You know, I
stand
can.
Suarez, yeah.
You know, I can't stand him.
Ghana incident.
The Ghana.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ghana that World Cup.
can't stand
If you
that
push
guy.
me, I would say that for that fact that the sporting value was diluted by that incident.
Yeah.
So, but there's no player that I would say is hated. Club football is another
Yes,
matter.
I was about to say the same thing. When it comes to club football, you have those. When it comes to the country, I mean, you kind of just you love your team as a whole. You don't really individualize the players.
Yeah.
You go with the whole country.
Club
That's a
level.
tough one.
Yeah.
Club level now,
Easy. Hurricane.
By the names, you know where they belong.
I wanted to say I still don't trust Fred that much.
I think this.
dude, what shirt are you wearing?
I think this
man?
guy is on his way out.
I still don't trust Fred that much.
College, yeah.
I just wanted to put it out there.
I mean, we can all align on Maguire, but I think after that, yeah.
The blame for the team.
For the team. No, but I think yeah. I mean, we are psyching ourselves up for World Cup. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be fun. But let's also dive in a little bit about issues. We're coming back to the issue. One of the thorny issue in soccer that we experience and we see is the issue of race. You know, race is a big thing, right? Or values, or let me say values. Like, what is your take on that? Because you see right now, before every game, people take a knee, at least in Premier League and stuff like that. But you hear blacks, being discriminated against.
The only thing I would say about race, and I'm no expert on race at all, is that what you see in sport, what you see in soccer, is a microcosm of what's in the
Or real world.
society.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can employ all the rules and punishments, but I think at some point, in my view, we kind of, unless it is something that directly impacts or targeted to certain people, I think giving it more airtime actually is
Making it worse.
It makes it even worse than just ignoring those bad elements, because they you can banish them away from the stadiums but you can they're still there in society.
Yeah.
In sport itself, I mean, if it's player or someone doing something that impacts another person specifically, there's always legal avenues
To do
where those things are concerned, and maybe follow those. It's one thing that I think we can never be eliminated. We've come a long way, but still
More
cannot
work to be done.
Still work to be
eliminated.
done.
So
And I think, go ahead.
Yeah. So race is it's a touchy issue, but then the way my brother said, we don't get to see it, on a big scale, also in the soccer. But like if you go to the Italian league, it's even bad over there. Because most of the time we watch the Premier League most of the time, so we don't get to see it on a bigger scale. But the Italian league, it's bad, for the black players. But then are they doing enough to address that? I don't know. What more can they do? Still, I don't know. So, because I'm not an expert on that one, so I can only say that at the end of the day, we're all human beings. So just try to treat each other as as one family. Yeah.
Black players they are there by merit. They worked hard to get that chance. It should not be looked at any lesser that this guy is in this team, and so it's like we gave this guy an opportunity. It's a favor, because I feel like there are certain races that feel like that, and when this guy steps up to take a penalty and he misses the penalty, then he's held at a different standard than the rest of the team. I think that's unfortunate, and I think if you give that same person the opportunity to kick that ball, they won't even do half as a good job than what the black player does. And so I think that's creating that awareness that black people are in those should I say black people, or should I just say any race?
Race, just
That team out of merit because they've worked hard for it and they are there because they deserve to be there. And so we should have their backs, whether they are whatever race they are, we should have their backs and say, and sport is a unifier. It's not supposed to be dividing people
yeah.
based on whether they miss penalties or what race they are or this and that. It's a great unifier and it's a game of chance. So if a black team wins the World Cup, it's not, those people, they come from a privileged, section of Africa. No, it's not that. It's everybody's there because of their merit, and you should give them their flowers and, their accolades for that, even if they don't win the tournament.
Yep.
Yeah.
You all said something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think for this month, I think it should be in our own circles. We can't reach the big stage and spread that message, but in our own circles, I think we should use it as an opportunity to spread love. I mean, it's a world tournament. There'll be fans mixing from all over the world. I think in our little circles where we go and watch, if you have a coworker, a team at work that you go and watch it with, I think that's a moment where we can use it to say, okay, no, you know what, we can coexist together. You don't have to be this and that to do this and that. You're black and you're white because that's who you are. And soccer in itself, the World Cup in itself, brings about that diversity. So we use these local places where we watch a game to just spread that love.
I don't know if this even, from what you point out, I don't know if this even is relevant to the topic that we're discussing now, but even in Africa, we need to take the politics out of soccer. For soccer to, because soccer, I mean, people are going to Qatar who have never been to Qatar.
Yep.
You're mixing races and this, I mean, it gives opportunity. And so I feel some type of way when politics gets in the way now. Kenyans don't have the opportunity to go to Qatar and, join the world and open their thinking and things like that just because some foolish person somewhere thinks their tribe is more superior and so this guy should not be in office and this guy and this guy and that guy. And so we need to get to a level where we just, tell these leaders, just get out of the way, let us do our thing. Because we are super talented. Africa, we're super talented. The French team is made up of Africans. Super talented.
I mean, you take away even the players in Europe from the teams they're playing in. You think of Mo Salah, Saka. You like Saka. Yeah. But people who have African descent, like soccer is I think is the one of the most, it's a global game. We talk about NBA champions. Right. Who did you compete against? Arizona and Minnesota, right? World champions. We talk about this. It's very local. We just call it because we want to call it. But show me one sport that really brings the entire world together.
World Cup Olympics.
I have quick question for you guys. We've talked about human rights in Qatar and all that. What are your thoughts, you guys, on some of these issues? Say, is a country like Qatar allowed to say no beer or we can't wear the rainbow armband? We're not supporting those things. Those are social causes.
Yeah, the social issues.
Are they supposed to limit those social issues from bringing up in the up? From a country saying, okay, if my team captain wants to wear the rainbow armband, or what this team wants to go, their culture is the beer, or their culture is a scarf. Are they supposed to limit? Is a country allowed to limit those things if they're the host? I mean, this is probably not on our level, but what are your thoughts on those limiting of social issues?
It's about culture, man.
Correct.
So if you go to some place and that is their culture, you have to respect that. So if somebody comes into your house and, and where they're coming from, they eat snake, and you don't cook snake in your house, are you going to cook snake?
What an example.
I know.
Only the general would come up with such an example.
It's about the culture, if their culture doesn't allow them to do ABC, then
respect it.
Just respect that. Focus on the game. And after that one, you can go back and do, what you wanted to do. But to me, it's about, the morals and the culture. So if they don't subscribe to that, why should they bend? Because it's a World Cup.
To me, I think this goes along with all the other politics involved with, how did Qatar win the bid? Why Qatar? All. To me, I call it noise. because soccer it should be all about the game. You know, if people want to, you know, the reason we are there is not to highlight these social issues. Not we are there. The reason they are there is to play. The reason they're there
As we're here in Minnesota.
The cool.
it's not to highlight those issues. The reason they're there is to play soccer.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you go to Rome, do what Romans do, and they are hosting. They allow you to go and play soccer there. So just go play whatever they allow you to do it, and you're not gonna change anything by highlighting whatever social issues are there.
It shouldn't overshadow that.
Yeah. Now I was just gonna echo what you said, Shadi. Like it's they've welcomed us to their house. It's their house. It's their rules, right? We have to kind of abide by their rules. And again, why are we there? We're there to play soccer, not for all the other issues. Not saying that they don't exist, right? And maybe I think as the world is definitely evolving, we've become this just global village. There's things that we probably, and even like, I'll just talk about like race conversations, right? Up until like, even like with the whole George Floyd thing, the Premier League didn't have Black Lives Matter on their jerseys. That was never a topic of conversations in that league, right? So I think, I'm not saying that it's not going to get there, even with with Qatar and like the Middle Eastern countries, but like we have to also kind of give them time to get there. I think we can't just say because the rest of us are already comfortable with this, now you all need to do that. We can't just force it down their throats. Like we have to like get to their space. And I think that's how you build relations, right? Someone invites you to their house. You just don't come in and command like, this is what's going to happen today. No, you get to know them. And then again, start having those conversations, changing. Why do you think this way? This is why I think this way. How does this affect each other? I think that's how you grow the culture. But now I don't think it's their call. If they don't want to drink any alcohol, they don't want to drink any alcohol.
Okay, I have a contrary opinion. Just a little bit. For me, nobody should be forced to do what they don't want to do. Okay. For example, if Qatar has they have their own rules that they don't want people to follow. This is a world championship or whatever you want to call it. And people are going there for different reasons. But, and a strong but, people need to make choice based on what do they call informed choice? So if Qatar knew they were going to, implement these rules, they needed to inform people even before voting. You know what I mean?
That's a whole controversy right there.
Let me just
there's a whole reason why
let me finish.
concerns about it. Yeah.
They needed to let people know well before even voting that if you come to Qatar, these are the expectations.
Yes.
So that people can make informed choices. When you vote or you're giving up something, you know that when we go there, this is going to be taken away. And rightfully, it's okay. For you to pick whatever you want to do, it's okay for Qatar to implement rules that they want. That's their place. But it's wrong for you to bring rules later towards the game when people have already bought the tickets and all these other things. They are ready to go and people are excited. Then you want to implement. Technically, you're forcing people to do things they don't want to do. And I'm a religious person. Let me put it that way. Okay? Or I believe I'm a Christian. Let me put it that way. And I'm going to preach a little. I mean, God gave us a choice. He does not force us to do things. He told us this is right, this is wrong. Decide what you want. But I've told you, if you do this, this is what's going to happen. If you do this, it's going to happen. There's an informed choice. I feel like Qatar should have done the same thing. Give us the rules, then let us vote. When we go there, we know what to expect. It will reduce a lot of talking because
tensions,
even if you come to me and say, hey, we are being forced to do this, I'll say, okay, did you read the contract? Or did you read the rules? So why did you buy the ticket? Or why did you come? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
I think
these things are just, if you can't, and I'm not an alcoholic, I hope I will never be one. But I'm saying if you cannot stay for 3 hours without drinking beer, then we have a problem.
I think it's besides that though. I think what Betu is saying, it's not like you can't stay without it, but it's like you've moved the goalpost.
Yeah.
At this point, like we were all aligned on this, but then at the 11th hour you decide to change it, which is not now fair, especially if that's an expectation you already put in place for people.
Yeah.
Because there's people that they don't necessarily have to drink, but that's just it's part of their culture. They enjoy that, right? It's part of and that's why it was part of it. And maybe there's people that made decisions. And
then people just go just for that fun, not even the sport itself.
Exactly, they just want to have that camaraderie and everything. Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but that's why I kind of said earlier. It's all about the politics, and FIFA is a political organization.
Yeah.
Rather than more than it is sporting. So in terms of how hosting occurred and how the voting happened and things like that, those are things that they were not. There's no opportunity for what you're calling informed choice. There's no opportunity. It's all politics. How do we get these people to host? Exactly. Politics, and there is corruption involved also. Yeah. So we gotta be realistic about it. So you can't really be idealistic and say, give us the rules beforehand. Because that was not the game. The game was
even before,
The game was how do we get these people to host?
Yeah.
And the other factor to what your informed choice is, nobody is being forced to go play World Cup in Qatar.
True.
Everybody who's there is going there by choice. And they kind of know how the game is played over there. So
I think so. Let's come back. Let's come back and say our time is, man. I can't believe it just blew an hour right away. Like just sit it here. And for listeners, as you can tell, World Cup is more than just sport. Like there's politics, there's race, there's religious issues, there's all these, and if you don't watch it, and I'm not here selling, for World Cup, but there is more that you can even learn by just being engaged in and understanding what's going on in the world. There's a lot that someone can pick out of that. We are not saying this to justify our crave and looking forwardness to that, but we just want to highlight that it's more than a sport. There is more that comes out of it. As we do closing part,
we can use it as a tool to learn and understand other cultures as well.
Yes. Absolutely. So as we wind up now, closing shots, parting shots, one thing that you want to apologize in advance.
What line are you trying to toe here?
Why are we apologizing?
We're not scared.
You're not scared to answer. Yeah. One thing, maybe I don't know how to frame this question. It's a month long. I don't know if you guys are getting. I don't know how to break this question down. But anyways, rather than do that, because it might start a kind of worm, let's go down parting shots. One thing about this World Cup you're looking forward to, and best of wishes to all of your teams as we go down. We start with Lloyd.
I'm just going to have fun. I really don't. I'm not putting so much weight behind it. I'm just gonna experience. I'm just gonna watch and just enjoy the moments, right? Like as much as I do have a team that I'm rooting for, I know my team's not going anywhere, right? Right. But it's just again thinking about like what we've talked about from the beginning. This is a unifier. It's a time for me to teach. It's a teachable moment for my kids too, right? But I think just because the World Cup is going on doesn't mean like all the other responsibilities are off the table. Like I still have to be a dad, a husband. I still have a job to go to. So those are things that still don't just take a back seat just because the World Cup is going on. I just have to figure out a way, the same way, like how do you balance between all these things and not feel like one piece is being left out because it's this thing happening for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Cool. For me, I think I'm excited about the new generation of GOATs that's going to come from this World Cup. I know there's this... There's a small issue of Messi and Ronaldo.
Including Haaland?
For sure.
I mean, I'm talking because it's your rival.
Shining and Haaland. No, Haaland is not there. Mbappe,
no, I'm just...
and, the other teams, the other GOATs that are coming up. So the new breed of players that are going to come up from this World Cup. And I'm also hoping that Maguire...
Wishing him the best of luck.
Yeah, good son. But anyway, aside from that, I'm hoping that I can get my kids to understand soccer and enjoy it. And, next time when it comes to the States, hopefully we can go and catch a game, man. It'll be amazing.
For me, it's kind of the same thing. Just to enjoy the game. I mean, for me, it's a break from the Premier League where we haven't been doing so well. So anyway, to enjoy soccer,
At least with the next 4.
Anyway, to enjoy soccer without that,
pressure.
That pressure. so just enjoy sport. I mean, I have the team that I'm rooting for in the World Cup. Win or lose, I'm gonna enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking forward to, just seeing some good games from not from any team that plays, because I can watch any team, so I'm not specifically just want Brazil to be playing. So any team that plays, I'll be looking forward to that, like a good game. Another thing that I'll be closely curious to see how it turns out. There's been this tendency whereby the defending champions, they don't make it past at the group stages. So in 2010, Italy did not. 2014, Spain did not. 2018, Germany did not. France are the defending champions. Are they going to break from that cycle and go past the group stages? So I'd be curious to see what happens. But other than that one, just enjoy the moments.
Yeah, mine is simple. Kick back, relax, enjoy some soccer. See an African team in the World Cup for the first time. That's what I'm hoping for.
All right.
I might switch allegiance just for that reason. So
Oh, my friend.
sticking with the home team.
Oh, for me, everything that everybody said, and for the most part, just live life. It's not die or live. It's just be happy, enjoy anything that makes you happy. Just do it. And enjoy life. That's what matters.
It's true.
Yeah, I think I won't repeat because you guys have said everything. It's a moment that comes once every 4 years. Because of COVID, it was a little bit long. It's history. There's a feeling that comes along with it. The entire world, everything that everyone is talking about, just want to be part of the global world through this journey. But as we do that, we all agree that our responsibilities will not suffer. Our passports have been stamped. The visas are approved. So we are good to go. But in all these, we just wanted to say to you, our audience, our viewers, our listeners, that, as men, sometimes you don't get to see a number of men seated down talking about issues like these. Rather than spending time bickering on, they spend and waste time there, you realize the passion that is here. Join them and build relationships in those processes. Families will bond. Kids will have fathers. And so as a father who's seated out there, as a parent who's seated out there, your child will not grow closer to you if you don't invite them to the things that you love most. It is those things that actually bond you guys and build those relationships. As Africans, we never had a moment to sit at the table and talk to our fathers. The father will walk in, what are you doing? Exit. But now having these experiences, these moments, we hope that we can start breaking the generation of that. Parents are parents, kids are kids, wives are wives, husbands are husbands. And through this tournament, we can grow together. That has been our time here at Amazing Truth Podcast. And I want to shout out to these brothers of mine. But as we sign off, I just have something I want to ask you guys.
Arsenal, man.
First of all, you just reminded me I wasn't going to say that. But we have a group called End of Season Grill. The problem is that the team that wins grills by themselves. So win or lose, we need to grill together when that time comes.
I've been in this group. We've never had a single grill. And I've been in this group for 4 years now.
We should
definitely do a grill.
We should do a grill. We should do a grill. No, just going back to the history of that group. Do you know when this group was formed?
Because your team won that year. No.
That group was formed in 2014. 2013?
2013?
13-14 season.
Yeah.
And we haven't grilled.
We've never grilled.
I even asked, we're not serious.
Going on 10 years.
Yeah.
13,
Anyways,
14.
we're closing these party.
We formed it. We formed it to celebrate Man U not winning the league anymore.
See, I don't even feel bad anymore.
All right.
I don't even feel bad anymore.
What a way to sign off. Two things. We're bringing the grill back. And lastly, Arsenal is at the top of the league. Thank you so much. That has been our time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Amazing Truth Podcast. We hope you were blessed as you listened. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. God bless you, and see you on the next one.